objective of this video is to link in an architectural model. Then we'll pin it down and check out the half-tone underlay settings. So let's jump into Revit. What we're looking at here is our home screen. You can tell by hovering over the little icon here that says home. Under models, we can open an existing model. We can start a new model. Clearly, you can open up previous models that you had open. In our case, under models, let's go to new. For the template file, click the drop down here. Notice we have a few templates we can choose from. We can either grab Imperial Structural Template or Metric Structural Template. Whichever you're doing, I'm going to go with Imperial Structural. Then we'll click OK. Curtain wall front here, but let's see why we can't see it. In our Properties dialog, next to Visibility Graphic Overrides, click Edit. Or you could type in VG for Visibility Graphic Overrides. Notice that it's only for this structural plan level 2. Let's turn on Curtain Panels, Curtain Systems, and then Curtain Wall Mullions. Click Apply. Click OK. There we go. Now we've linked in our architectural model successfully. One last thing I'd like to do is go to the Manage tab. Go to Additional Settings. Let's go down to Half-Tone Underlay. We can select what our half-tone looks like. For my weight, I'm going to put it on 1. I'll apply a half-tone, and I want to make it 80%. You can adjust these how you like to show your half-tone underlays, but I like it right about here. Click OK. It won't take effect until we change it back to structural. Hit Apply. Now we'll see those settings take effect. Switch it back to coordination. Hit Apply. There we have it. So we're done. Save your model somewhere that makes sense to you, and you can keep using it throughout this course. There you go. That's how you link in architecture. What I want to do to create levels is go to either an elevation or a section, which we don't have yet. To go to an elevation, we can do one of two things. If I zoom in on this self elevation here, I did that by wheeling my button away from me. We'll see we have south. If I hover over it, it says Views Elevation South. The reason in the last video I had you pick a window around these two items is the fact that these are independent of one another. See, if I click on here, I can turn on 4 full elevations. So if we're going to move these, we need to actually move them using a window. In the project browser, we'll look over here, and we will see that we have elevations, east, north, southwest. And you'll see they correspond with these elevations that we have in this model. They are linked, they're the same thing. So if we want to go to a south elevation, we can either double click it here in the project browser or double click it here. That brings us into an elevation of our model. Since our discipline is set for structure, we're not seeing a lot of the architectural elements, which in this case is good. I want to keep it that way. What I want to concentrate on is the thickness of that floor and these levels. By default, our template had 2 levels built into it. The architect has added levels and has altered the elevation of the levels. So we need to deal with that. We need to copy that. So if I select this level here, right on the line, you'll see that a little dot appears and there's an alignment line that kind of links the two together. This little lock makes sure that if I move this level will move along with it, consistent with the same movement. So I'm going to pick on this grip here, and if I pick and hold, and I wheel out with my wheel button, and I pick a point right here, and hit escape a couple times, we can kind of delineate between the architectural level and our level. What I'd like to do is I want our level to be abutted to the bottom of this deck. There's a couple things we can do. Let's do the Align command. Go to Modify, then go to Align right here. Well, notice in parentheses, we can type AL. So I'm going to click Align. I'm going to grab the bottom of this slab right here. So the destination is the line you want to pick first. The object you want to move is going to be the line you pick second. So I'm going to go along and I'm going to pick somewhere along there. Don't lock it, ignore the lock. Now I'm going to hit escape a couple times and we have level 2 at 11'6". That's where we want it. Now I want to create another level. There's two ways to do it. If you go to the structure tab, you can click the level button right here. Or if you right click on level 2, you can create similar right here. So either way you want to do it, that's fine. Now, what we can do is, if we click on the pick lines button, we can either offset level 3 down, we can pick the bottom of the slab, or we can offset level 2 up 12 feet. So let's do that. For the offset, let's type in 1, 2 for 12 feet, and we'll offset this level up. We'll offset this level up. Offset this level up. And for the last level, what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and pick lines, and we're going to get rid of our offset. So for the offset, type 0, and we're going to pick the roof right here. Now I had to escape a couple times. When we picked the roof, notice for some reason it didn't put our datum or our information on it, but that's okay. If you hover over this right here, you'll see that it will highlight that level. If you grab this grip right here and drag it to the right like we did before, notice that we can drag it right out till it lines up with level 5. See that? Once you see that, it's going to add that log. And now notice that we have a little checkbox here. So if you click on that checkbox, it's going to give us our information. Let's hit escape a couple times. Zoom into level 6, select it, pick it again, in all caps, let's call it roof. Then hit enter. We just looked at how our project browser is linked to our elevations. It's also linked to our levels. So would you like to rename corresponding views? Yes. We want the project browser to have the same name as our level, so click yes. And hit escape a couple times. Found the end. I can grab these ends. Notice that it says 3D and there's a lock, so we can pull these in a little bit so they're kind of even. And for our roof level, if we hit escape a couple times, select this and we can uncheck where it says roof there. One more level. So let's right click on level 1 and create similar. On the draw panel, click pick lines. Let's offset that 6 feet. You don't need to type in the foot mark. If you just type 6, Revit will automatically assume you need 6 feet because our settings are set up for fractional feet and inches. So if we offset level 1 down, notice that when we hover over level 1, we get an alignment line that goes downward. If we're to select it from the top coming down, it'd go in the wrong direction. So pick it coming from the bottom up, select it, hit escape a couple times. I'm going to rename that from level 7 to top of footing. So click level 7, click it again, call it T, period O, period footing, and hit enter. Yes, we would like to rename corresponding views. So click yes. You can escape a couple times. Now in our project browser, notice that we have structural plans level 1, to roof, then site, then top of footing. Select level 1 analytical, hold down your control key, select level 2 analytical. Right click, and let's just delete them. We can get them out of the way. You can also delete the site. So select site, right click, and delete. And that's it. That's how you create levels in Revit. Go to my south elevation. We can either double click it here, or remember, we have the project browser. Brings us to the same thing. Now, we have our levels where we want them, but in case the architect decides to move one, we'll keep an eye on it. Go to collaborate. Click the copy monitor drop-down menu and click select link. If you select the architectural model anywhere on it, it should outline the entire link. Once you see that outline, pick it. Now we're only going to monitor, we're not going to copy. So if I zoom into here, let's click on the monitor button. If I hover over this type of footing, Revit knows which one it wants to select first. So I'm going to pick here, and I'm going to pick here. So it selects ours, then theirs. If I zoom in on the little heartbeat, there it is. If you don't see that, you didn't get it. Do the same here and here. Heartbeat. Now we're going to simply go here to here, here to here. First mark just to make sure. Here to here, here to here. And then the roof is the same as below, here to here. We'll see we have a little heartbeat monitor on that. Now click on Finish. That way we know that we are monitored. So if I was to change my level to like say 34 feet and hit Enter, it lets us do it, but the coordination monitor alert level moved by 1 foot. If we close out of here, hit Escape a couple times, and if we select our link, notice that we can click on Coordination Review, and this is orange. So click Coordination Review, level moves, so our level moved. We're not going to do anything, we're going to undo this. Click Cancel. Notice undo, there's a little drop-down level. So undo back to Edit Parameter, and we're safely back to where we were. So there we have it. That's how we keep an eye on the architects. Not in the south elevation, go ahead and scroll down in your project browser and double click on south for elevations. Because our discipline is set to structural, we can only see a few items. I don't know why windows and doors show up and not much else, but that's what happens. In the properties, if I wanted to change this, I would just scroll down to discipline. Instead of structural, I'd click my drop down and I would go to coordination. Click apply. Now I can see these items. It's kind of a big opening here, but that's okay. Let's change this discipline back to structural. Click apply, because I'd rather just see it this way. But I want to go to a 3D view. If you click on this icon right here, default 3D view, this is going to put us in a 3D view. Notice that we have two different tabs we can switch between. So if we want to go back to south elevation, we click here. If we want to go to 3D, we click here. Notice now on the bottom, this is what's called the View Control Toolbar. As I had mentioned before, anything we change here is only going to affect the current view that we're in. So for example, we have a bunch of levels. We have the architectural levels, we have our levels, and it just looks kind of weird, wireframe-like. So in our properties, I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to change the discipline to be coordination. Click apply. It's very wireframe looking because it is wireframe. If I change my scale, it'll only affect this view. We'll keep it at 1/8 inch, but I want to change this detail level, and we'll look at that in plan in a minute. I'm going to set that to 5, but right next to that is my visual style. It's set for wireframe, but if I change it to realistic, we're going to see the building. Now, a couple items are physically turned off, it looks like. We have a giant curtain wall here. We have a roof here. So let's see what's going on. If you go to Visibility Graphic Overrides right here, or if you type VG, it's going to bring up Visibility Graphic Overrides for 3D view. That's it. So if we change anything here, it's only going to affect the 3D view that we're in. So in our filter list, I'm going to click the drop down. Let's turn on Architecture and make sure Structure's on. Click off of this. Notice that curtain panels, curtain systems, and curtain wall mullions are all turned off. I suspect that roofs are probably turned off too. So scroll down to roofs and turn that on. Now if you click apply and click OK, now we can see the actual architectural model. I'm guessing doors and windows are turned off too, but that's okay. We'll just leave those as openings. In the project browser, Let's jump down to level 1 under structural plans. So let's double click on level 1. Change our discipline to coordination. We're going to wind up changing all these back, but that's fine. Now we'll notice that we can only see 2 lines of the architectural wall. If we come down to our detail level and go to fine, now we can see all of the wall. That's the difference between viewing this wall in coarse or in fine. Type VG again. Notice that we have overrides. So for example, if I wanted to scroll down to something structural, like structural framing, I can override in just this view the color, the transparency, the pattern, which is really cool. You can't do that in AutoCAD. But if I click override, we'll notice that we can change the foreground and the background fill color, or the lines, I can override the line weight. So if I go to weight, it's 1 through 16. I hit cancel here, I hit cancel here. That reads back to, if we go to the Manage tab, Object Styles, that's what that one is. So these are the defaults in Object Styles. Visibility Graphics, VG, is an override to those global defaults for the specific view that you're in. Hopefully that makes sense. And as we go through this project, we'll be going back and forth through these settings quite a bit. Looks like I have wireframe turned on. So I'm going to click wireframe and I'm going to go to hidden line. Seems to change it much, but that's okay. And we know that our discipline is set for coordination. So what I'm going to do on level 1 is I'm going to right click on level 1 and I'm going to create a view template from view. For the name, I'll call it plan coordination. And I'll click OK. It brings us into our view template dialog. Now we can look at the other templates that are predefined, but this is a new one that we had. We'll do plan coordination. We can uncheck if we want some of these items involved. Like, for example, view scale. Maybe I'll uncheck that. And we'll click OK. Now, if I double click on, say, for example, level 3, we turned a bunch of stuff on and off that we didn't want to. Let's go down to level 2. I'm going to right click. I'm going to apply template properties. I'll go plan coordination. Didn't turn on that curtain wall though. So if I right click on level 2, now you go to apply template properties. I'm going to select plan coordination, but in plan coordination, I'm going to go VG overrides model. And look, you've seen this before. We're going to turn on curtain panels, curtain systems, curtain wall mullions. We're going to click apply. We're going to click OK. Then I click OK. It's going to turn on our curtain wall and set that like that. So now if I go up to level 3, right click on level 3, apply template properties, and I double click on plan coordination, look at that. It turned all our settings on. So what I want to do is go down to level 1. Now I want to change my detail level to coarse. I want to keep it on hidden line. And I want to change my discipline back to structural. Click apply. This is kind of how it looked when we first started. I want to right click level 1 and create view template from view. Now I'll call it typical structural plan. Click OK. We'll uncheck view scale again. Click OK. So there we go. Now if I right click on level 1, apply template properties, double click plan coordination, it does that. If I right click, apply template properties, typical structural plan, it does that. So I'm going to turn this back to coordination. So I'm going to right click, apply template properties, click plan coordination. See, pretty cool. That's how we set up view templates. One more thing I want to do. If I right click on level 1 and go duplicate view, I'm just going to click on duplicate, which means it doesn't bring any notes or text or dimensions with it. If I just click on level 1 and then soft click into it, I'm going to call it level 1 coordination and hit enter. Now all I've done is duplicated level 1 and I've made level 1 coordination. So in level 1 coordination, I'm going to scroll down until I find view template. And instead of none, I'm going to click none. Then I'm going to select plan coordination. I'm going to click apply and then OK. Notice I can change the scale because I unchecked scale. But notice I cannot change the detail level. I can't change the graphics. I can't change a lot of things. Most of my properties are now going to be grayed out, and there's not much that I can do. So now I'm level 1 coordination is set for this. So if I want to change anything in this view, I have to go to plan coordination, and I have to change it here. If I include my view scale and click apply and click OK, notice that I won't even be able to change my view scale. That sound is me trying to click on one of these scales. Click off of it. That's it. It's pretty cool.